Hey, welcome back to Devoted. We are finally out of Hebrews 11, okay? We've been in Hebrews 11 for a few months. I think it's been a few months. So we are out of Hebrews 11, but we're not. Because we're going to look at Hebrews 12, verse 1. And you know what Hebrews 12, verse 1 talks about? Hebrews 11. And so we're out, but we're not. Here we go. So Hebrews 12, verse 1. We're going to spend some time on this because it's one of those iconic verses that we've used many, many times. And you pair that up with verse 2 of chapter 12. Now you got to remember, in the day, they didn't have chapters and verse. Again, it's fine that we added those, but translators added those. But they were scrolls or letters. And so it was just one consistent theme. So when it starts here in the New Living Translation with therefore, the saying is you've got to stop and figure out what it's there for. Why is the therefore? You don't have to ask that question if you've been watching the last 3 or 4 months of Devoted, because we've been living in the therefore. The therefore is Hebrews 11. This whole thing, the last several weeks of Devoted has been in the therefore. Make sense? So verse 1 is pointing back to all of Hebrews 11. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a cloud of witnesses to the life of faith, we're going to stop. We're going to break this verse down. It's, like I said, it's so iconic. It's such a well-known verse. Unfortunately, I think it's also a verse that we've kind of not understood fully. So we're going to take some time over the next few weeks to break down verse 1 and verse 2. So we're going to take just that little phrase right there. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. Say great cloud of witnesses. All right. So understand, I'm probably going to pop a bubble here, okay? Going to pop a bubble. Couple things. Really the main question, who is this cloud? Who's in the cloud of witnesses? All right. Well, we know for sure that it's chapter 11. There are 18 that plus 10. I don't have enough fingers. There are 18 examples, specific examples of the cloud of witnesses that make up the cloud of witnesses. All those that we looked at for the last several weeks, they make up the cloud of witnesses, okay? So there's 18 specific ones. But also, not only that, look at this. I want to read this verse out of Ephesians 3, 9 and 10. Listen to this. Paul's writing to the church of Ephesus, I was chosen to explain to everyone this mysterious plan that God, the creator of all things, had kept secret from the beginning. The plan is to salvation through Christ alone. Verse 10. God's purpose in all this was to use the church to display his wisdom in its rich variety to all the unseen rulers and authorities in heavenly places. Say it again. God's purpose was to display the wisdom in all of its variety to all the unseen rulers and authorities. You know what some of the witnesses are? Yeah, angels. We have an angelic band of witnesses. There are angels watching us, both of the light kind and the dark kind. Mm-hmm. We've got all the rulers and the authorities in the heavenly places. So we've got angels of both dark and light watching us. Ephesians 3, verse 10. So that makes up some of the cloud of witnesses as well. Take a deep breath. It will be okay. But here's where the bubble goes pop. You know who's probably not included in the cloud of witnesses? Your Aunt Irma, your Uncle John, your mom, your dad. Probably aren't included in the cloud of witnesses. I know. It'll be all right. But I know. But this is, I think we have to be really careful with this theology. Well, my mom's watching over me. A couple of things are wrong with that. Number one, if your mom's watching over your dad or your loved one or whoever, your grandma, your grandpa, if they're watching over you, two things are really kind of out of order here. Number one, so they are supposedly in heaven, where there are no tears and no sadness, and yet they see you here with all the brokenness in the world. How does that work? Second, if they're watching over you, when you think of heaven, who is your focus? Them or the King of heaven? Be careful there. I do not think the cloud of witnesses has anything to do with people watching us. I think the only ones watching us are the angels, dark and light. Yes, of course, God. Even the 18 specific examples that have gone on, they're not watching us. It's called role models. It's called how we're supposed to model our faith. It's called how we're supposed to live our faith. It's called follow their example. The cloud of witnesses, it's a term, it's a Greek term, it's a simile, it's just simply a metaphor for meaning we've got a lot of people watching us here. We should be more concerned with the cloud of witnesses watching us on this earth. They're watching how we live life. They're watching how we serve God. They're watching how we represent Christ. That's the cloud of witnesses we need to be concerned about. There is a cloud of witnesses watching us. Angelic, yes. Familial, who have gone on before us, no. But we have some models of faith, all of Hebrews 11. We have models of faith to pattern our lives after. Amen? So let's be devoted to make sure at the end of our lives, we're part of that cloud. Let's make sure we live our lives now that we join the cloud. So people can also speak of us and say, they're in the cloud of witnesses. The role models, the ones that we want to pattern our lives, the ones we want to imitate. Let's make sure that even now, we're devoted to be a part of the ever-growing cloud of witnesses. Amen? Amen. Be devoted, be blessed.